Jay Casey,
Hello, hello.
welcome to the Your PT pod.
Happy to be here. First time in Swansea.
Is it your first time in Swansea?
First time in Swansea.
First time to Wales?
No, I've done Snowdonia before. That's the last time I've been here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've done the north, now you've done the south.
That's it. Conquered
Fantastic.
it now.
No, I always love inviting people to my hometown.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Honestly, I'm taken back by it. It's good. It's really
Amazing. Obviously, we spent a lot of time together yesterday. We'll
Yeah.
talk a little bit about
Yeah.
that in the podcast. But it's so good to host you here today. The purpose of the Your PT pod is to give authentic value to the personal trainer network and the industry, at large. And I can't think of a better example of a successful entrepreneurial mindset to be sitting in front of me today. So as well as having a bit of fun and reflection on yesterday, we'll cover some key topics today, Jake. We like to focus on 3 or 4. So I think for the listeners, what I'd really love to dive in on today is your journey into PT, where that all started, developing a successful one-to-one business on the gym floor, which you've got vast experience in now. Building a business beyond you, we'll touch on as well, because I think arguably that's one of the biggest challenges personal trainers face.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've got some amazing examples of that. And we'll touch on community as well. So should we dive into yesterday?
Let's dive into
Should we
it.
talk about
Yeah,
yesterday? So yesterday, for our listeners, we held our summer social, which is an annual event. It's we aim it around charity fundraising as well as having some fun. So we invited industry colleagues, the Your PT team, yourself and some of our top trainers around the country came along, and we went on a 25-mile walk.
Yeah, we did. I'm feeling it today.
So we done a ramble across the Gower Peninsula, a bit of fun and celebration in the evening. But for me, it felt like a real good community day.
Honestly, everything that you could want from it, we got from it. You know, from the laughs to the conversations to the networking, and also the really important times, around friends too. So I had a really good day yesterday. It was great.
And the conversations throughout the day as well, people were talking about all sorts, about life and struggles and successes, and that was so amazing to see, people open up just on a walk.
It was a bit like a reflection day, really. There was so many points I was quiet for a bit, and I was like, the brain's still. I'm like, you don't get this often. It's really nice just to sit back and reflect on everything. And then, some of the conversations that come up, some really good topics around, like men's health as well, of like people just getting out and having those conversations, going for walks and just being in that environment, I think helps people to be vulnerable a bit more as well. So it was really nice to be involved in it.
It's so powerful, isn't it? I mentioned to a few people along the route as well. Obviously, we were about 9 hours, weren't we, to do the whole thing. We had a massive group. But I sort of looked at that and I thought, there's not many questions you can't answer on a 9-hour walk with people that you loosely know or don't know at all. And you're right. I think in those quiet times, then you do answer a lot of questions.
Yeah, it's like, it's a great time to sit back and not feel like you're having a forced conversation, which I think, especially in our industry, we're in and out all the time, and it's quick catch up and go from here and there. But that was nice to just slow down, deeper conversations that can lead into anything, because you've got 9-10 hours of doing it.
100%. Yeah, it was amazing. We loved the day. If anyone's watching this on YouTube, they now know why you've got sunburn.
Yes.
So that's
it's the neck here is not good, and then do you know what? The arm is actually not too bad. It's
settled
blade
down.
in, but we've got the squashy photo anyway.
We've settled down. So that's just for context, I guess. But let's obviously you and I have known each other for quite some time now, Jake, and you've kindly contributed to lots of things with the RPT infrastructure, like VIP panel members. You've been a PT of the quarter. You've
First
become
one.
You're the first ever one.
Very proud of it.
You've also become a master license holder, a master trainer within your PT. But we've got to know each other personally, and you've got an intriguing background, being a professional footballer, moving into, an industry that you love. So let's start there, Jake. Let's talk a little bit about your journey and how you come about becoming a personal trainer.
Yeah, it's funny because I never thought of it when I was younger. It was from when I left school. I had a scholarship with Dagenham and Redbridge, which I was like, great, life is going to be great. I'm going to be a footballer. This is it. Alongside that, done some studies too, which was a sports science diploma, and I just enjoyed what that entailed. I enjoyed the learning side of it. I enjoyed learning more about the body. Enjoyed learning around everything science-based in sports. It went along with what I do.
Yeah.
After a season there, I then moved to Bournemouth Football Club, which I then had to stop the qualification I was doing, and they also offered separate qualifications there, which were your level 2 and 3 in personal training.
Nice.
And which is funny because now most of the courses, you can get them done, 12 weeks you can get a PT course done, but it took me over 2 years because they spread it out while I was there, which was really nice because I got to dive a little bit deeper into everything, and having that around training with football was great. So yeah, for me it was at a point I didn't think I was going to step into that, but I enjoyed what it did entail. And then as football progressed, I remember a job was just going up in the local gym.
Yeah.
It was like a 0-hour contract. I thought, a little bit extra cash along the way. Obviously, football was still the main push, and it sort of just, I think from there, I just really enjoyed again the community in the gym, what it gave me, how I felt being around the gym. I started to educate myself more, stepping into classes, stepping into training people, and I did get a lot of fulfillment out of it.
Yeah.
And then football, I mean, anyone that's ever played football knows it's very up, down, up, down. 1 minute you feel like this is where your career is going to take you. Next minute it can really flatten you down because it's a tough industry to be in.
Yeah, yeah.
And that, I think I was 21 when the big change come, because I was at Crawley Town, which again really well established club, was in League 2. I was playing with the under 23s, and I was like, and the manager that brought me there thought very highly of me, and I was like, this is it, this is great.
Chance.
Yeah. And again, I was still working because the pay wasn't great. I was having to travel 2 hours to Crawley, train for 2 hours, 2 hours back, 4 hours in the gym, day in, day out. That was but I think it started to build a bit of resilience in me as well, because again, it's you're traveling, you're working, you're having to train hard, you have to show up every day, and this for me, I think it built sort of the foundations for what I have now. Yeah. So I think I've got football and the way that set me up. I think that's actually set me up perfectly for how I've progressed through my PT career.
Yeah.
And then when Crawley did come to an end, I remember a new chairman come in. They sort of just cut the whole youth system that I was in, the under 23 squad, and straight from the academy up. And then my coach moved to Turkey and wanted to go play for Trabzonspor, and I was like, that's far. I was like,
that's Turkey. That's like the Premier League in Turkey.
It is,
that sort of level, yeah.
And that was going into the youth team there. Again, there was no promise of anything happening, but it was a chance. And by this point, I'd been working in the gym for 4 years.
Yeah.
So I'd built that sort of setup in the gym, and I said, I'm going for it. I'm just going to go with your PT. I just can't be bothered to keep getting pushed back. I'm not going to move away and take the risk. I mean, who knows what could have happened? But again, it stepped me into a life now that I love, I enjoy. I get to be around like-minded people, and I think I definitely made the right choice. And that was my start with your PT, which was 8 years ago.
You covered, yeah. I mean, you covered a lot of ground there, Jake, and it's always intriguing to me, and I get it. Footballers, what is the percentage of the chances of making it as a footballer?
It's very low.
Very low.
And also, I would love to play football every day, and do that for a living. But also, there is a cap on what you can earn. People think that it's all very, Range Rovers and sports cars, but that's at the very top end. I've got friends that play football that I earn more money doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So from a financial perspective, there's also that, and also then your career doesn't last very long at all.
Yeah.
It could take one bad injury, it can take you dropping down to another club, your contract ends, and then you retire between 30 to 35, and then what? then you got to try and dive into a whole new industry and go from there. So it's difficult.
It sounds to me like you've had a lot of lessons in the footballing world that have positioned you to become a successful business owner now, with the operations that you run. And I guess that comes with, failures, kickbacks, the discipline that you mentioned earlier, travelling 2 hours to Crawley. But the education side is quite interesting to me. So that came about at Borehamwood, the education. So they had a pathway for their footballers to educate themselves outside. Okay.
And that went from, they had it from all the way down at, like, they called it the Pace Academy. Which I was involved in the reserve side. And the Pace Academy they made for kids that wanted to go into education, but it may not be your A-levels after school. And it's funny because professional footballer who plays for Wales, who was having a conversation yesterday.
We were,
he was in the same team as me. And now, he's playing for Stoke City. He represents Wales, which is amazing. And he actually come from the lower end of this Pace Academy and worked his way up, which I think is amazing. It's great.
100%. It's something we're trying to, build bridges with is professional teams, because, there is a high dropout rate. So, you're going through very key years, as you commit into, a professional sporting journey. And with the high dropout rate, it's vitally important for these athletes to have a plan B. Because it's not going to work for 99%.
Honestly, there's players that I know they're up here and it's great and amazing, but there's players that are great and amazing footballers, but they're all the way down here and they don't know what to do, or they're still chasing it, and you're looking at pushing on 30 and you still don't know where your career is going, and that's tough as well. It's tough.
So you mentioned earlier, Jake, about going into the gym. You enjoyed the buzz around being in the gym and the community feel. Is that what the key driver was in terms of deciding on that career pathway?
I think it's a mix, because I enjoyed because the gym that I worked in was a leisure centre too. So I built a lot of friends who are best friends of mine now from being at that leisure centre. From people that was working in the trampoline park, people that were in the ice rink, to people that were in the gym. And that actually built my friendships when I first started to go out, for example. There were people that I would spend time with. So that built a community for me. And it felt like home. So the gym became a place that felt like home. And it's a place that I still spend my time now. I'm still working from that gym now, have coaches in there. And it's changed a lot. And I think it's actually lost what it had from them times when I first started, which was, we're talking 10 years ago.
Yeah. And well, that tells me that you made the effort to go in and build that network and get on with your colleagues and learn about the facility from an early start. In terms of what your start in the fitness industry looked like, just walk us through that pathway, Jake. So you've come out of football, you've decided, I'm going to fully commit, I'm going to get involved, and I'm going to start developing and growing a brand and a business. What did the starting point of that journey look like?
So I think the big point which I push on to a lot of PTs that we have conversations with now is establishing yourself in your centre. So whether you're getting a name for yourself, which I think I built prior to that, which helped me. So it was just, without knowing, I put the groundwork in by just being in and around the place day in, day out. And it's kind of like the simple stuff that we say, but it does work because, again, you fit in and people know you and you become more approachable. But, when I first started, you don't have a full diary of clients at all. I was teaching classes at the same time, which helped me because I could bring in more clients from there. But I also worked as a PE teacher too. So, I know I'm not actually, I said this, for the school that was next door to the gym, I was working as like a lunchtime assistant, football coach, tennis coach. I did like gymnastics after school with the kids.
Right.
And that got me a lot of my first clients. So I started doing a class for the teachers because they all had memberships to the gym.
Yeah.
So a lot of the teachers that worked there become my first clients.
Yeah.
So this was like a point where when I started PT, it wasn't just like, okay, I'm just going to fix myself to the gym. It was also what happens outside. Where can I pick up more hours doing stuff, but also relates to what I'm doing. And then I pushed into doing that. I was running a class of the teachers after school, carrying battle ropes over on my shoulder from the gym. It was like, but it was them things of, I really enjoyed that, and the school offered me a full-time job to become their PE teacher.
Wow.
And obviously PT and was progressing. And that wasn't the career that I wanted to go into. I started to then really get the love for PT.
Yeah.
And I was like, the more time I can spend PTing, same thing with classes, reduce them down. Hours got busier. And within, I'd say, a year and a half, I had a fully booked diary.
Yeah, that's really good, actually. So you've essentially gone out to a warm audience of people in the teachers and identified that, these guys are stressed. They need a physical activity outlet. I can provide that.
Yeah.
And that's been a springboard into opening many, many doors then.
Yeah. It's funny because it's the way I trained then and the sort of energy that I gave then being 21 to now being 28 is completely different. The way I coach, the way I train, my perspective of going into things have changed massively, and that does come with experience. But then it was all very much good energy, high intensity, and that's now had a bit more of a shift, which I just think is better for your health and wellness, which we can touch on. But definitely the energy that brought, especially with teaching classes, it was great. I used to love it. I used to go blare music, get everyone up for it. It was very, very high energy, which was great.
100%. And there's so many sectors that you can kind of apply that to. So, looking at the corporate sector, the need for physical activity initiatives, well-being initiatives within those environments is so important. And personal trainers, if they're not doing it already, should definitely be looking at that as an opportunity to grow their brand, grow their visibility, and work with, an audience that needs their provision. Do you think PTs do that enough in your experience, Jay?
No, I think it's tough. And I think this relates back to the football thing. I just don't. There's a lot of PTs I don't think they have enough of that resilience or that push to go out and do that because it's uncomfortable. It's tough. It's not easy to step in and put yourself in an uncomfortable situation of people you don't know or having to show your qualities. You're feeling like you have to prove yourself. And we don't see enough of it, but the people that do are really successful.
Yes.
So it's taking that leap and that step. That's what it takes. Again, same thing with the school. Like, I didn't have any experience in it, but I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Everything that comes up, everything with your PT, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Even this podcast, I've never been on a podcast before. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
Do you know what? There's some value in that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Say yes to everything.
Yeah. Learn on the way, and that's how you pick up knowledge. Of you throw yourself in the deeper end, and of course you'll make mistakes.
Yeah.
Goes back to football. You make mistakes in every single game, but you have to pick up and go again.
Yeah, absolutely. Bounce forward.
Bounce forward.
That's what it's all about. Touching on mistakes, obviously, there's never a clear line when you're building a personal training business. It just doesn't all fall into place. From your wealth of experience now, Jake, being in the industry, if you reflect back to when you started and the lead generation tactics, you've mentioned one there. So you've targeted a specific audience, and that's enabled you to build up a client bank. Are there 2 or 3 standout lead generation tips that you would suggest to any PT starting in a new gym?
The standouts are spend time in the place. That's your number one. You have to be there. You can't just wait for people to call you. They're not going to call you. You have to be in the centre, spending time. And this is the thing about with personal training. Don't think about that hourly rate too much at the beginning. See that as like, this is my job. What can it grow into? Spend as much time, even if it's unpaid, in that space. And that for me helps. It makes leads so much easier because then that comfort that we said is set because you know the place, you see the people, you give the nods, you say hello, the hellos. So you're doing the foundations and the groundwork that even now, I have people that call me and contact me from 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. And that was from me having a conversation with. I can't remember that conversation, but that's lead generation. I'm that little hello that I do in the morning is goes a long way, whether that be I'm not going to get a sell there and then, but I'm setting myself up long term to get people coming in. So that's just the number one, of just be in the space, be around, be approachable. Secondly, I think there's a lot of different tactics that you can dive into, like Q&A desk. You can go do classes and whatever it may be. But I think also look at how you coach, how you train yourself, how you. When I look for a new coach now, it's the things that I look for. I look for coaches that are fitness instructors and how they carry themselves, how they train themselves, how you conduct yourself on a day-to-day basis. And that goes into how they'll coach and lead people too. Yeah. The best coaches I've had are the ones who, when you look at what they do when people aren't watching, that's where you see like their qualities a lot more.
Yeah.
So I think it's again how you do, if you have that first session, how you approach that session. Are you prepared for it? Are you planned? Do you deliver it with quality? Are you looking to learn and progress from there too? So I think how you coach is huge.
Two very basic but very important points.
Honestly, I don't do the really extravagant lead gen stuff. Sometimes I do it and it's fun, but that's not the foundations.
I think that's the key, Jake. Not overcomplicating. A very simplistic process. You've noted me scribbling down as you go through that. A quote came into my mind as you were talking through that, and it's a lovely quote for PTs to remember and a good analogy. So it's about, the quote was, I can't remember where it came from, but it's about giving more than you're paid for in the early days, and consider that an investment in your future self. And that's so important when you're delivering consultations, taster sessions, gym activations in the early days, because you're building your reputation and you're building your muscle memory as a PT as well. And then the other side about you being almost like a walking billboard of your services. It's so important. Yeah. You've got to walk the walk if you want your clients to follow and be compliant and have life-changing experiences. You've got to walk the walk.
From the minute you walk in that door, it's people are watching you, and no matter what, people are aware who new PTs are. They know that you're the new PT. You don't need to prance around and show that I'm here. But if you are there, people will be watching, and they'll be watching the little moves that you don't think about. They won't be watching when you have a clipboard doing challenges as much. Listen, it's a great lead gen, but some people also are not comfortable to dive into that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, if they are, they've got quite a lot of enthusiasm, and that makes it easier for them to come to the gym and train. A lot of the time, it's the clients who don't have that enthusiasm that don't want to come over with a clipboard, but they're watching. And then as soon as they have a point where they can approach you and feel comfortable because you've said hello, they're the clients that a lot of time will stick around longest.
Absolutely. And the results you get through you and your team, Jake, they speak for themselves. You can physically see the transformations and the lifestyle changes that have been adopted as well. How do you manage to keep your clients on track on a daily basis?
It's health and well-being is the main thing, and this is what's great about the PT industry. It's changing from your 12-week body transformations. If someone walks through the door, yes, we can do that. Yeah. How often that happens? 3% of the time. Most of the time people want to move better, want to feel better, have no pains, have no aches. They want to see progress in all these areas which come from strength to how they sleep, to how they feel, to when they get out of bed, have they got any aches and pains come in? Are they seeing these small incremental changes day in, and also how they feel? One of my main things I do in every session that I still do now, I ask my clients, like, how are you feeling today? How are things? And depending on what they say to me and how that day's gone, I can shift the session if I need to.
Nice.
Okay. Because if they come in, they're like, I've had a really bad time at home, work's really stressing me out, the kids are annoying me. Already their nervous system has got a lot of pressure on it. If I start smashing them with a really heavy session and that puts more stress in their nervous system, that's not going to do them any good long term. Yeah. As much as they may feel a bit riled up sometimes, that's not actually going to do them any good long term. Yeah. Whereas straight away, I sort of like take that edge off, have the conversation, ease into the workout a bit more, flow into a bit more mobility based stuff, let them relax a bit more, let the nervous system settle before then going, right, we have to hit a new number this week. Yeah. Because how they feel then is going to move on to their next session. Yeah. Also to how they sleep, how many steps they get in, the food choices they make. Yeah. So you basically lure your clients into a false sense of security. Yes. And then bang. Yeah. Honestly, it's PT and it's people skills.
Yeah, 100%.
You have to learn to read people, and here at the time we are like therapists. It's
very true.
Yeah, we got to the point of understanding who that person is in front of you. No matter what session plan you have laid out, that can change within a second depending on that person's day or mood.
Yeah. It sounds to me there, Jake, that you've got a full feedback loop. So you're constantly getting feedback from your clients, and then you're tailoring and tweaking to fit where they're at in that time. Yeah. In terms of also keeping clients on track, do you use any apps or any systems that help kind of track progress and trigger when a client might be feeling low on energy or low on mood, and that helps you kind of control your sessions.
Yeah, so we do a check-in with all clients every 3 months.
Okay.
So we do it quarterly. We do a quarterly check-in just so we can have a bit of a deep dive into their health and well-being as a whole.
Nice.
What that looks like is the client would come in, we do a weigh-in, which is like body composition, all body composition, so your body fat percentage, muscle mass, BMI, BMR, visceral fat. We go through the full lot. Whether they want to or not, I say it's more for us because then I can see where things are at. It may also be, these are really good, let's keep them the same. And like progress for you may be, can you keep these exactly where they need to be? Yeah. And that's healthy markers for you. So that's something that I do for us, but also for them to let them know where they are. It's also a chance for them to say, look, how have you found training? Yeah. How's the last 12 weeks been? Is there any areas that you feel like you could progress on more? Yeah. And that's where I can be honest, say, maybe this goal we didn't reach because have you not realised what's been going on at home? Have you not realised how difficult work's been? Yeah. Right now is not about hitting massive goals. Right now is about maintenance. Rather than tailoring off, we've kept maintenance. Yeah. These next 3 months now, you've got a little bit more leeway to push on it and go more and smash the next goals, which could be, a new bench press or back squat or deadlift, whatever it may be. Yeah. So it's all timings. Again, it's feeling off your client. So those 3 month check-ins help us just to keep on top of everyone.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that's best practice. But also you set in boundaries and reviewing targets. So goals change. Yeah. So, if someone's come with a weight loss goal, they've hit the weight loss goal, they're now looking to run the half marathon locally. Yeah.
You can't complete training. Like you can't complete PT. It's impossible. There's always a goal from someone who's never stepped foot in a gym to a professional athlete. There's progressions everywhere. Yes. So people they think they've done it all. You can't. This is the great thing about this industry, that no matter what, your client shouldn't ever leave because there's always something for them to progress on in their health. Yeah. And even if that is maintaining, that's also progression. Because as people get older, maintaining your health is like the most important thing.
I love it. And I sense and I feel like you set out a journey, a map, whenever you onboard a new client. Yeah. You go through your boundaries, you work out a plan that's specific to them. I think a lot of PTs in the early days, they get hung up on what if they leave, what if they leave, what if they leave. But you're actually saying you're never going to leave. Yeah,
this is what we do. And I've got the answers for you. Yeah. And once they can start to open up and be real with us, we can help you on that journey. Yeah. And your health is the most valuable thing. So if people are seeing value in their health progressing and staying well, why would they leave? Other than the moving house or wherever it may be. But this is also where, now we have online advantages to that. There's people that I train that live in different countries and we do things online. It may not be as suited to the fact of we may not have all the equipment, but we can still progress and move on that. So when they do come back or they're here visiting, then we can dive into that too. Yeah,
love it. Love your philosophy, Jake. And we'll move on to retention strategies actually next, because that's a fundamental part of developing a strong, robust PT business. That would be one. Mm-hmm. So doing your check-ins, looking at boundaries, resetting targets is vital and can be missed on a lot of occasions. So that's great to hear. Are there any other effective retention strategies that you found whilst building your community and building your client base?
Community is massive. So especially as things have progressed from just me coaching and being a PT myself, which again, that I'm very tight-knit with all clients. But it got to a point of, again, it was difficult because going back to the thing of PTing isn't just that 1 hour, it's what you do outside the gym and what you do at home as well. Like we all know of how much extra work that goes into personal training. It's not just, you're in, train you for an hour and see you later. I'm not going to think about you until the next session. You take home that baggage, you take home what you're going to do next and how you're going to progress that. Mm-hmm. That was how, when I was one-to-one coaching, it was just me. That was my big focus on what did each individual client need. It took a bit more. Yeah. Now, as that's grown with more coaches, it was all about community and keeping people together and building a brand where people want to be involved, regardless even of the training. Again, it's how they feel. Yeah. So if they can make friends within the gym, if they can bounce off other coaches, if they can enjoy the stuff that goes on outside of their sessions too, that's going to keep them in a lot more.
Okay, so grouping people together, like-minded people, do you look for personality traits or do you look for common goals? What's the most important aspect when you're looking at pairing and grouping clients together?
I let them figure it out.
Leave it to them.
Like,
Who'd you get on with?
Yeah, it literally, like,
Love it.
when we run an event, like our last event we did was a charity 5K race for life.
Yeah.
We had 60 clients come.
Yeah.
And our client base ranges from people in their 20s all the way up into their 80s.
Yeah.
So, and we had people running and walking the race that people got 22 minutes. Some people, it would take them 45 minutes where they walk it.
Yeah.
And I think that's great, because while that's happening, they're going to have conversations with who they want to. Before the race starts, after the race finishes, they're going to speak to who they gravitate. It's like yesterday when we went on the walk.
Yeah.
You just gravitate towards some people in particular.
Yeah.
You know, like I found myself speaking to like one person in particular most of the time. Like me and Daz, we was like talking for ages.
Yeah.
And you just bounce off that person, you build a tighter bond then. And then that moves on to, me and Daz were like, oh yeah, we're going to go plan and do other things. He was like, oh, come up to Manchester and do this next week. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go up. So now we speak
nice.
outside of what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's that same thing, you just bounce off of those people. So putting all clients into one environment where they can bounce off who they need to, regardless if you guys both have brown hair, you go together. It's bounce off of who you create an energy with from there. And again, the more clients you have and the better thought out that community is, the community event is, the better. You know, something like a run where people are stepping out their comfort zones. They do that, and then after it's like, all right, now we're going to go to the pub.
Yeah.
You know, now we're going to have some food, have some drinks if you want to, but you also don't need to drink because not everyone's going to. People will gel and mingle with who they need to.
Brilliant. And you've got like a calendar of events essentially throughout the year that you plug your clients into.
Yeah.
They get full visibility of that.
Yeah.
And they can pick and choose what they
what you know, WhatsApp community groups, different events, whether it be even just getting people together for a coffee. Yeah. You know, going for a group run, coffee afterwards. And then that builds other little groups. We've seen like within a community, there's like a group of ladies that we train. They have barbecues every other week. Yeah, they're always round doing barbecues and this. I'm not getting invited either.
They're pushing you out because you can see what they're eating.
They're pushing me away. But it's really nice to see. Again, they've built their own community, and it does the retention for me. Because I'm like, you guys are going to go, and you're probably going to speak about your training session they had. You're going to speak about one of the coaches. You're going to maybe speak about me, or even, it's funny, I had one person, she was like, she missed her weigh, and she was like, messaged me like, Jake, I'm sat here and I haven't had my weigh-in. And I was like, well, you've been all over the place. You've been away. Like, come in, let's get it done. But it was nice because she had a bit of a joke with me, but she was like, where's my weigh-in? Like, you know. And this is also things of, it keeps them on track, which then brings them back in, so you don't lose track of anyone. Because when you've got 100 people to look after, if someone is away and they miss that session, by them being in the community, that got her back in and stayed really tight.
Of course, yeah. There's so much value in that. And to be fair, you're working smart. You're letting your community do a lot of the legwork for you, and that's brilliant. And that only comes about, Jake, with the infrastructure that you put in place. So you're reaping the rewards, and that's amazing to see. We're going to move to the next section, if I can. So we're going to look a little bit around building a business beyond one-to-one personal training. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned earlier, started PT at 21. Correct me if I'm wrong on this.
Yep.
Now 28.
Yep.
So 7 years.
Just turned 28. So I'm trying to hold my youth here.
Okay, 6-7 years. You cracked one-to-one PT.
Yeah.
And you did that quite quickly.
Yeah.
Developed your client base. Naturally, the challenge that presents is you hit a ceiling of opportunity.
It was just how much you could work, and it was just how many hours you could do. And it got to the 50 sessions a week, which is just tiring, draining. It's great financially. Yeah. But is that sustainable long term? It's not. So. And
the process getting to the 50, you've tweaked prices, you've top ended on that side of it, and you're right. You're then flirting with burnout. Yeah. Which is no PT needs to go near that line. So, for the context of the podcast and for people who don't understand, so your PT offer a model where personal trainers who are in that position can take out multiple additional licenses, move into a master trainer license, where you then work on a revenue share with personal trainers under your stewardship and guidance in your facility. Could be multi-facility, depending on location. And that's essentially the career pathway and the model that you've now developed into, Jake. So you now work with, how many coaches have you got working with you?
3 coaches and then myself. So it's four of us on the team.
So then you've opened up 4 diaries to facilitate your services in a vastly growing and developing community. Let's talk about the starting point of that. So you got to the realization that I can't do this for the rest of my life and I'm going to burn out. We talked about the master trainer model. What did you look for initially in the coaches you wanted to join your team?
So the way it did start about was, I was at a point where when I was really busy. I was always been interested in injuries and physiotherapy. So I also was looking at, do I go and study in university and do physiotherapy, or do I go on and push this business further? One of my friends joined the gym that I work at, and I started to help him develop as a coach, helped him to get some clients in, helped him with even how to communicate with clients and when there was difficult challenges, how to go about those. And I enjoyed that process. And I was like, I could do this as like a job. I'm actually enjoying helping someone progress and find their feet and do what I've done, because I know exactly what it feels like. And then my first coach, one of my best friend's younger brother, just passed his level 3 PT. And it was around COVID. And as we was coming out of COVID, we started to do a bit of training together. Because my friend was like, oh, can you help him out with some training? I was like, yeah, of course. We was training in his garage, just going through stuff, the big whiteboard. We was going all over different programming. And as we was allowed to train outside, I started to train a few clients in his garage. And then he was watching. So from a young age of even when he was 17, 18, he started to watch and develop. And I said to him, I was like, we're going to do something. Like, don't worry, like I'm going to look after
talent identification, And
I said to him, and I said, go work as a fitness instructor, do what I did, get some experience in the gym, just being around that place. I was like, do as many little PT sessions as you can with family, friends, wherever it is, gain that experience. And I just saw like a hunger and drive in him, and I was like, I can see a bit of me in it, from even like the football perspective too. And I was like, I could just see that. I was like, there's a lot of potential here. And that, because I think when you start this, you have to have, like, there has to be something that makes you go, yeah, that person is going to be like the first person. Because otherwise you're guessing, right? You're like, you don't know what works because you haven't managed anyone before. So you have to you look for good quality traits. I looked for traits that I had in myself. So that was it.
Makes sense.
I looked for what I feel like I had in myself, and then pushed on that. So when my first coach started, it felt like training my younger brother. So it was really easy because we had a good relationship anyway. We were friends outside of work, and but he had a big respect and still does massively now. And still, he's someone who I push on and test all the time. I'm always like, come on, Harry, let's do more. Like, we can go more. And he wants to learn more, which is great. And then, from there, I saw his development, and now I have that shift of, now he's developed so much as a PT. I'm like, how do I develop into helping to run the business? So it's even that next point there.
There's a step up for Harry. Let's go back to that then. So I'm glad you said Harry, because I was thinking, that's Harry. That's Harry. And obviously Harry came along to our first Level Up event in Twickenham. So and I can see the similarities 100%. But let's look at the benefits for yourself. They're obvious. It's building beyond you. You've got a new burst of energy coming in, someone that you trust, someone that you can coach, and they're willing to work. The benefits for Harry, I would suggest, are he's got low risk because he's walking into a ready-made client base, plus he's going to get mentorship and guidance and a career pathway through your innovations and development plans. Fantastic.
Yeah, exactly that. So he, it's stepping into where he hasn't got to do the hard hustle and bustle in the gym of trying to sell. I was like, what I do with my coaches, I take the selling away from them, because a lot of PTs try to become salesmen so much that they forget about coaching. And I was like, my coaches that I have now, I say to them, coach first. Let me worry about the sales, and then we can progress into that, rather than having to try and make sales and that, which sometimes a lot of coaches don't enjoy doing. I do enjoy it. I enjoy meeting new people and the challenge from there.
And sales is different in different areas, Jake. And you're based in Highbury. So naturally in London, people are busy. They're in and out. Earphones are on. All the challenges that you get, but probably heightened in London. So I mean, acknowledging that and taking that pain away from your team,
which that helps them develop quicker as a coach.
Okay.
And it's funny, I remember the coach after that come in. They don't train with me anymore. They had all the qualities of a coach, but the things that they lacked was the people skills, which goes back to what we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a few incidents that happened, which was a difficult time for me, because I was like, this is difficult because now I'm managing someone's personality rather than the quality that they bring in terms of their coaching, which was probably one of the hardest decisions to let someone go. But it was what was right for the business. You know, I had to make the decision because things like people skills can ruin my reputation, and I don't want that under. So then I started to think of like, right, people skills are now even higher up here. I can teach quality of coaching, that's fine, that you can learn, but people skills are a little bit harder. And then Stefan, the other coach, I saw he was a fitness instructor in Sober, one of the gyms that we train at, and just see his mannerism and the way he'd speak to people. He was so polite, and the respect people would have for him for just generally being, and I think Stefan is the kindest man in honestly, he's lovely. And them people skills that he has, I think, are second to none, because you can teach coaching, you can dive into all the fancy stuff of coaching, that can be taught and is enjoying to teach, but again, how you spend that time with someone, an hour, it's really important of how they feel being with you.
Absolutely. And I guess the benefits with Stefan, Harry, delivering the sessions, it allows you to step back and work on your business, not be embroiled in your business day in, day out.
And that's my hardest thing that I've got better at now, but it was saying no to clients. That I can't be on the gym floor all the time coaching, because then I can't develop the coaches, I can't get new coaches in, I can't develop the business.
Nice.
So that's when the challenges come in, that I had to, I wouldn't say be the bad guy, but say no. I'm not very good at saying no. I want to help everybody. I want everyone to be happy, but I can't do everything at once. It's impossible. And for us to venture out and do more, I needed to get my time back by having more coaches that brought my time back, because then they're doing the work on the gym floor. It allows me to progress on. Now we've got a new coach in too. So, and I want to push that on and get more coaches in that I can develop and do, and that requires me stepping away from the gym floor more.
It's amazing, and it's so powerful, Jake. I mean, I'm so proud, really, as an organisation, that we're able to offer this to the likes of yourself. And I think in the last 2 or 3 years, through kind of you communicating on our VIP panels, speaking at events, showcasing through blogs on the website, this is going to be so impactful as well.
Even like today, I would normally be in the gym coaching.
Exactly.
My coach has been able to cover my sessions. I can come here, do things like this. I had, great chats yesterday, and then you network with people, which is going to venture out and do more. So it's a knock-on effect that you have to step out so that you can see more.
Absolutely.
It's that difference of working on the business and not in the business.
I couldn't agree more. And I think we've seen more and more advanced PTs, successful PTs now adopting the same strategy and developing, and it's brilliant. So you're up to 4 coaches you're working with, so the team is expanding.
And then we have a development coach who helps us to develop the skills of the coaches, and that comes from even the background programming that we do. I try to teach the same philosophy to all the coaches. So regardless, even today when sessions are being covered, when a squat is getting taught, the same framework is being used, the same words are being used. So clients are like, oh, I know what this feels like because this coach teaches and so does this. So as a team, we have the same philosophy around everything.
And that was my next question. So how do you support your team?
So
you invest in them.
And
that's financially and through time. I'd imagine you have regular mentoring sessions, regular one-to-ones. You've got the background of the PT infrastructure as well, so you can tap into resources.
So that we use all that. We do weekly sessions in gym. So that's very practical, based on how to perfect exercises, move through things. We even just sometimes grab people from the gym floor and say, can we use you for a second? Just go into this squat pattern we want to see and use them. But also it's a good tool to bring leads in, because people are like, this is really cool. People are watching all the time. They're like, there's a group of PTs learning and developing their skills. That's so valuable, of seeing them do that, and that we're putting more effort into our jobs. Coaches are learning a lot more. And then we do like check-in calls, which is a lot more around programming, and then the next coach's development process. So going to Harry, he now wants to go into more running more consultations and doing more sales and, doing more of the background work of the business is something that he wants to progress on. So even a development coach that we have, he helps Harry to set that up. So we all run it through like an app where we have all their information in, we do check-ins, we do meetings, and we just progress week by week, chipping away at it.
Got you. So that comes back to a point earlier as well, actually, in terms of how you keep your clients on track. So is there a specific app that you would recommend to PTs, or?
Yeah, we've gone through a few. We've tried a few, some that have been good, some that just haven't been suited. I think it's find the one that suits you. We use one at the moment called OneFit. And it fits exactly what we need. And the development coach I have, Josh, remember you met Josh? Yes. He was the one that brought it to me. He was like, I think this would be great. And I hate technology.
Lovely guy, switched on as well. He knows that inside out, doesn't he?
He's so switched on. He's super intelligent, super smart. Someone I've bounced off of for years from the gym. So I knew him from the gym. Everyone that's involved are, again, in marketing, we have someone new in marketing now, was one of my clients. It's things like this where you build your circle and you notice these qualities in people, and that's what builds a really, really tight-knit team.
Yeah, absolutely. And like-minded people, Jake, and it's not unusual to me that you've developed at such a fast speed that you've surrounded yourself with like-minded people, great personalities. And you mentioned earlier about Stefan's just a nice person. And I think when you strip it back, part of the art of personal training is just be nice. Being inquisitive and helping and supporting.
And I think that's what the Master PT gives, because, for example, the likes of Stefan, he hates doing sales. He always tells me, he's like, I don't even know where to start. I'm like, you don't have to. Don't worry about it. We'll get there, but just coach first. And he enjoys it, and it's sort of, that could be maybe a reason that would have stopped Stefan from PTing by himself, whereas now he's had the opportunity to come under like the master license under me and be able to progress and actually find his feet in personal training and develop from there. I said to him, like, I want you to progress. If you progress, I do well. If I do well, you do well. We grow as a team.
Absolutely. And your brand is known locally as Elevate. Elevate Fitness and Health. Fitness and Health. Is there like a strapline? Is there a mission statement for Elevate?
It's funny, when I first launched Elevate, which was just over 2 years ago, again, very caught into the brand and what that represented. And it's funny because I was like, I'd love to have a gym. I'd love to have like Elevate Gym. This is what I'd love to have a space. And I still would. But then I was like, I love your PT. I was like, I don't want to leave. I was like, it's so good what we have. I'm like, we're set up in a gym. We have the master license position where we kind of do have our own gym in a way. You got people coming in the door all the time. There's a infrastructure set up in there, and it was like why would you want to step away from this? And it's like the opportunities that your PT give was like, I don't actually need to open a gym to feel and create your own environment which feels like a gym. So for me, it was at the beginning I was very much like, build the brand, blah blah blah. But then I was like, it's who's involved in the brand. Like the name doesn't even mean that much. It's what everyone involved that means. And that's been a bit more of a shift of, I start to even use my brand name less now because I just more so involve everyone together.
And it's great to hear that, Jake. And it's exactly the way this sort of model was invented. To allow that, because the challenges that come with opening a bricks and mortar gym is heightened costs, staffing levels, utilities. There's everything that you have to consider, and sensibly you sort of acknowledge that I'm in a multi-million-pound facility. I'm building
top of the range equipment. You've got everything. Something breaks, I don't have to worry about it. Toilets are broken, not my problem. Could you imagine having to get a plumber in? It's just all extra stuff.
It's all the extra stuff.
Which is lovely to have the place, but it's like, I was like, am I doing that because that makes me feel good? Like in terms of, am I doing that because I feel like that would make me feel good because I feel like I've completed what I need to do. But I'm also like, I'm in a position where I'm already there and can progress on that more through again the Master PT program.
It's so great to hear. And I guess my last question in this section is, you've had some brilliant success in the last few years, but what keeps you hungry? What motivates you? And what's your why? Why is this endeavour so important to you?
That's a really hard question. I say this to myself every day. It's like it's sort of. I think it goes back to the football thing. I think it goes back to it's sort of that resilience to go and do more, and it excites me. Like I love it.
Brilliant.
You know, I love jumping into new tasks, new challenges of like what's next. I get the same thing when I was at a fully booked PT, and I was like earning loads of money. And if anything, I was actually probably earning more than I earn now.
Yeah.
Like in terms of what was going in my pocket, I was like living great life. It's so free. I had hardly no responsibility of running a team.
Yeah.
You know, it was all just everything was going into my pocket. I didn't have to worry about paying staff. Didn't worry about how like all different people are feeling of what's running. But again, it's like I started to lose the fulfillment because other than what I was giving to my clients, I was like, I can do that with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
It's like literally if you was like PT someone outside in here now, I could literally spring together a session plan and do that easy. So it was the thing was like, what's going to challenge me to do more?
Yeah.
You know, being here today, coming up here and being in places that are new, that excites me. So then I'm like, right, what's the next step from here? That gives me new challenges. So it's hard to say my why because I think I'm still working it out.
Yeah.
I'm something that's my own journey of like, why do I do this?
Yeah.
You know, there's a financial reason, 100%. You know, be able to buy back your time. But I even said, I think if I had loads of time, I'd be like, right, what can I fill my time doing? You know, I would give myself reason to be busy again. I've never sort of stayed still, and I do enjoy that. But I'm also trying to find the balance between, Jake, relax a little bit. Like, go home and put the TV on. Like, you can do that. It's okay.
You are allowed to.
You're allowed to do that. So
you put up a shield to PT sometimes.
Yeah.
You give a persona that you're a superhuman. But we all have.
So it's funny. To that question, it's I don't have the answer. Yeah. I actually don't.
I'll keep asking until you find out.
Yeah. So and I think that's the beauty of it though. Like, I feel like, why do we need to know?
Yeah.
You know, because it can change.
You can draw a clear parallel here to what we said about clients earlier.
Yeah.
So from a client perspective, you have check-ins. You establish firm boundaries. You look at what's next.
Yeah.
You assess, are your goals that we set out still relevant today?
Yeah.
And it's the same with the mentorship with your PT. You're checking in with Ellie and Ollie and myself on a regular basis. So we're kind of like, where you at? What's the next step? Have the goals shifted? Are moving from 4 to 5 to 6? And that's exactly what it's all about. It's having that accountability in your corner.
Yeah.
And it's great to see the progress that you've made, Jake. We're coming to the end of the pod.
Really?
It flies, man.
It flies.
And honestly, these.
Honestly, if you give me a coffee, we could sit here.
I know. We could be here for hours. I know. And I've kept track of my time today, which is unusual.
I think these are honestly. I love it. I think it's so insightful for PTs, especially to look at people within the industry that have done these things.
Yeah.
Because you can learn so much. Because again, it's every time I go to a level up event, I have so many conversations with new upcoming PTs, and they say to me, "I want to be a master PT."
Yeah,
I'm like, brilliant. But like again, it's that thing of like, what steps have you got going from there?
Yeah.
Why as well? You start to sort of challenge and ask them, and sometimes people don't know either. So it just there's an ongoing thing for PTs to learn and venture out. The fitness space is huge. I think it's so good though.
Yeah. And one of our brand values in your PT is authenticity. So we only put authentic content out, that is going to be impactful and useful for any of the people who care to share the time to listen to these things. And you see that in the mentors, all of our management team, as you know, Jake, have been successful PTs.
Yeah. It can be like too ABC sometimes, like with PT, it's like you have to do this, but it's like you don't. Like there isn't a rule book. Like you can actually do it however you want. Yes, there's better strategies and there's better ways to do it, but if you wanted to do minimal hours and that's what you need to do, you can do that. Yeah. Like that you have the option, which is great. And I think that's what's great about your PT, that you've got all the support and help, but to be who you want to be, rather than you have to do this. And it gives people that that individualism that will help them to progress into what they suit.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. The rule I have on the podcast is we like to give the guests the final word on the podcasts, and we'll circle back to a topic we've discussed today. We obviously discussed the community of yesterday, how people open up in these environments. We've discussed how you've developed your community and bonds through your services over the last few years. Any advice, Jake, to wrap up on how personal trainers can start strong and start building strong bonds and communities from the get-go as they sort of embark on their career as a PT?
It's look at your club and your environment. I think as one thing I have stayed away from a bit more is social media, because it's very vast. Okay. I think a PT that's going into a gym space, that's your community.
Yeah.
I think we lose a lot of that in the modern world now anyway, in terms of, I think we lose a community that's around us, and we look for it elsewhere, but we can look from it halfway across the world, which has its pros and cons, but we forget about what you can build in your place, actually building real tight connections that people see day in, day out, that aren't through a screen. Yeah. So I think that's something I've really pushed on. Again, I've never got a client through social media, ever. Ever. Like, not one person have I ever got coming through social media. So for me, it's the space that I'm in, that's where I'm known, and that's how the brand is built from there, through word of mouth and being in the space that you're in. Yeah. You know, like for me, like Highbury, Islington, that area, I'm sure most people know about us in the area and what we deliver. Yeah,
amazing. Yeah. And that ties in actually to what you said at the start. Tips about, you know, how personal trainers should generate leads. From the get go. So insightful. Yeah. There's a ton of gold in there, Jake. Thank you ever so much for spending the time to be here today.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for your professionalism and for the friendship.
Yeah.
Really excited for the next chapter of how you develop. And we'll work out that why.
yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. We'll get there.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jake.
Thank you so much.
I think you're a natural in the podcast.
I like it. I'm like, I can see myself here. It's quite comfy in it.
100%. Amazing. Awesome. We'll catch up again soon.
James, see you later.
Bosh! Mate!